Hello guys, how are you? I have been required to make a short class for my assignment in Bethel University, to my technology class, to make an assignment of how to edit it and make a video. And I need, some material. So this short class that I'm going to give in regard to make this possible. What I'm going to talk with you now is about Spanish, of course. That is what I'm going to teach, in a near future. And the topic that I have choose is it's pretty simple. Is how to make words in Spanish. We don't really need to know, Spanish to say the words properly. What I am talking about here is about the phonetics, the sounds of the words, the sound of the syllables, the sound of the letters, and the sound of the vowels. That's pretty easy. Now, the sound of the letters is like in English pretty much. It's not really a much difference, Some experts are pretty detailed, or they make a very detailed differentiation in how they put the tongue at the time to say, the, for instance, or B or V, the R in Spanish, or R, and different R that we have. But you pretty much can recognize that, it's just to get to a super extra duper level to get that kind, of mastering, be super exquisite about the pronunciation of the consonants in the Spanish language, in contrast, of course, with English. That is what, we all speak in some point. What really make a difference is how you separate the syllables and the sound of the vowels. That is kind of a big deal. In English, we know already that we have 13 sounds of vowels. For instance, we have the E, that is the double I, or the double E's, and that sound like I, and the different sounds of the vowel A, when you say apple, aeroport, it's different sounds. What complicate a little bit, the phonetic in English and how to pronounce the words, not because use the consonants as we already speak, if not because the vowels actually are phonetically talking the main part of the word, of the structure of the word, who actually give that specific characteristic of the sound and how we can identify the words. Another thing, for instance, is in English is quite different. Hear the word that we don't even know what it means, and just write it down. In Spanish, pretty much we can do that. Because the sound of the vowels is pretty simple. Like I already say, in English we have 13 sounds, of phonetically talking, but we write, the A that we have here, the A, then we have the E, the I, the O, and the U, right? Yeah, the 5 vowels. That is how we write it. But when we combine that with the consonants in the words, we have 13 sounds. It's kind of crazy. In Spanish, it's much, much simple. I don't really know the reason for that maybe we had other class, is because of Roman roots, probably, because it's a Roman language. But it's very easy. In Spanish, you have the letter A that is pronounced A. The vowel A. A. Letter vowel A sounds A. We have letter vowel. Oh, sorry. I thought that I was picking up the E in English. E. And it's going to sound E. Always. Always is going to sound E. Then we have the letter E. That is how it sounds in English, E, and always is going to sound E. The same with the O. And the same with the letter U. So for instance, if we want to create a syllabus, we can do like that. P and A sounds pa. For any kind of word that we're going to use that syllabus. Papa, papaya, paso. I know you don't know what it means, but it's, doesn't really matter. We're talking about sounds. It's always going to sound pa. Not because it's going to be P and A in a different words or with another vowel next to it, that is called diphthongus, is going to sound different. No, it's always going to sound pa. Like BA is always going to sound pa. For instance, we have P and E is always going to sound P. That is the sound P in Spanish. P is going to sound P. In English is P and I. P and E is P. So that is what make very interesting. We have another example. D and A is da. C and A is ka. So for instance, you have all your vowels in all your consonants, in English. Let's create a word a little bit more complicated. Let's see what happens if we wrote the letter P, R, A, D, O. Doesn't really matter, Prado means prairie, but that is not the point right now. But we have here, Prado. You don't really need to know what these words mean. If you really know, your consonants, P, like in English, R, like in English, and you know that A is going to sound pra, it's always going to say pra. And then the D, and you already know that the letter U, that the letter O, sounds O, so it's going to be Prado. 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 Same thing. You can make another word. I'm going to create another word, a word that even doesn't mean anything in Spanish, just to say something. Or I can say put Prado backwards. Do, pra. Do, pra. Do, pra. What do, pra means doesn't have really a meaning in Spanish. But it's what this means. That is how you say it, that's how you pronounce it. So it's always a win-win with the vowels in Spanish. It's kind of cool. It's always a win-win. Let's make a longer word. This is a little bit tricky. Have a diphthongus in it. But diphthongus is not really so complicated. We have the word PR, pra, and then we know that double E, E is E, pre, C, dio, presidio. That has a meaning. That means it's kind of a jail. But doesn't really matter, again, because if you're going to read something in Spanish and you need that somebody understand you know what they're saying, you don't need to. You can read it and the other person can understand what you're reading, even that you don't. Cool. You cannot do that in English. Presidio. Kind of cool, huh? Okay, guys. Of course, you have more, a little bit more of the rules. Like we're talking about diéresis with 2 points here. Guerra, for instance, that means wars. you know. Of course, these 2 points means, you know, is deception. You don't say guerra, you say guerra, because, you know, the difference is, okay, and you is guitarra, you know, guitarra, you know, when you have these 2, is when you make an exception to the rule, but it's not too many exceptions though anyway. So pretty much what I already teach you is what you need to know, how to pronounce words in Spanish. Very easy. Well, and we have the ñ. That sounds ña. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. You're kind of covered with that. You can read a book now. Maybe you understand anything what you're saying, but the person who knows Spanish will understand what you're saying. Have a good one. Bye.